Mr. President, there were 45,000 funerals in America this year. These funerals, 45,000 number, stood out from all the rest of the funerals. Why? They were tearful, as all funerals are. They filled loved ones with sorrow and grief, as many of us know firsthand. But these 45,000 funerals were avoidable. But that's why they were more tragic than most. Because 45,000 times this year, nearly 900 times a week, more than 120 times each day, about every 10 minutes in America, every day without end, someone dies as a direct result of not having health insurance. That's really a sickening number. You'd have to be heartless not to be horrified. And it doesn't even include those who did have health insurance, but died because it was not enough to meet their most basic needs. That's what this is all about. But it's not even just about death. How many citizens in each of our states are bankrupt and broke because of our broken healthcare system? How many have to choose between their mother's chemotherapy and their daughter's college tuition? How many have to work 2 or 3 jobs to provide for a family that they never have time to see, all because of an accident they had or an illness they acquired, as some insurance big shot calls a pre-existing condition? So many of these tragedies could be prevented if our nation truly values the sanctity of life, as I believe it does. We'll do everything we can to prevent them. That's why we're pushing so hard to make it possible for every American to afford good health. It's why we can't take no for an answer, and why we'll not let the American people down. That value is also evident in the amendment before us today. As some know, Mr. President, for many years, nearly 28 years, as a member of the House of Representatives, of the United States Senate, and as Majority Leader, I've consistently cast my vote against abortion. To me, it's not about partisanship of any kind, or political points, or even polling data. To me, it's a matter of conscience. I might not be the loudest on this topic, but that doesn't make my beliefs any less strong. I might oppose abortion, but that doesn't mean I'm opposed to finding common ground for the greater good. We can, Mr. President, find common ground. My belief in the sanctity of life is why I've repeatedly voted against using taxpayer money for abortions. It's why I've repeatedly voted against covering abortions in federal employees' health insurance plans, and repeatedly voted against allowing federal facilities to be used for abortions. But I recognize that abortion is an emotional issue. Many senators in this body disagree, just as many citizens around the country disagree on the issue. But divisive issues do not have to divide us. There's value in finding common ground. Among this institution's immortals is Senator Henry Clay, who worked under the premise that he said, and I quote, "All legislation is founded upon the principle of mutual concession," close quotes. It is in that spirit I've been able to work with my colleagues to my left and to my right, congressmen and senators who are pro-life like I am, and those who are pro-choice. One of the ways I've done this is by trying to reduce the rate and number of unintended pregnancies. Our great country leads the world in many ways, but this area is not one in which we take much pride. The United States has one of the highest rates of unintended pregnancies among all industrialized nations, and that's an understatement. Half of all pregnancies in America, every other one is unintended. And of those, more than half result in abortions. I've worked to stop this problem before it starts. In 1997, Senator Olympia Snowe and I started the first of many efforts to improve access to contraception. We said that health plans should treat prescription contraception the same way it treats other prescription medications. We even passed a law that ensures that federal employees have access to contraception. This proves what is possible when senators of different backgrounds, both of good faith, work with each other rather than against each other. In this case, a pro-life Democrat and a pro-choice Republican followed common sense and found common ground. I've always been appreciative of Senator Snowe for her cooperation and really her courage. I continue to this day to be grateful. Let's not forget that this historic bill now before this body will continue those efforts. By making sure that all Americans can get good health care, we'll reduce the number of unintended pregnancies at the root of this issue. That's a goal both Democrats and Republicans, I hope, can agree is worthwhile. Let's talk about current law and this bill. And that end, in many other respects, this bill before us is a good, strong, and really a historic one. It's a bill that will affect the lives of every single American and will do so for the better. It will, as you've heard me say many times, save lives, save money, save Medicare. But you've also heard me say that this bill deserves to go through the legislative process. And that process includes amendments. It warrants additions, subtractions, modifications as the Senate sees fit. This is an appropriate process, one that has served this body well for more than 2 centuries. The amendment before us today, offered by Senator Nelson of Nebraska, would make dramatic changes to current law in America. So it's worth examining what that law says, how this bill would treat it, and what this amendment would require in addition, and then evaluate whether it improves the overall effort. As current law dictates, not a single taxpayer dollar, not one, can be used to pay for an abortion. There are very few but very serious exceptions to this rule. Those are explicitly limited to cases in which the life of the mother is in danger, when the pregnancy is a result of rape or incest. This law is called the Hyde Amendment. It has been on the books since the late Republican Congressman Henry Hyde wrote it in 1976. I have great respect for Henry Hyde. I served within the House. I recall with fondness how this Illinois Republican congressman came to Nevada to campaign for me. We worked together at a time when a Republican could campaign for a Democrat and vice versa and not fear retribution or condemnation from his own party. When we drafted the health reform bill, now under consideration, we worked hard to come up with a compromise between pro-life and pro-choice senators. On one side, there are some senators who don't believe abortion should be legal, let alone mentioned in any health plan. On the other side, there are senators who don't want a woman's access to legal abortion to depend on which health plan she can afford, and they wanted that reflected in this bill. And so, legislating in pursuit of mutual concession, as Senator Clay advised, we struck a compromise. It's a compromise that recognizes people of good faith can have different beliefs. And instead of trying to settle the sensitive question of abortion rights in this bill, we found a fair middle ground. That compromise is that we maintain current law. We're faithful to the Hyde Amendment, which has been in place now for 33 years. Let me be clear, Mr. President. As our bill currently reads, no insurance plans in the new marketplace we create, whether private or public, would be allowed to use taxpayer money for abortion beyond the limits of existing law. But we don't stop there. The bill takes special care to keep public and private dollars separate to make sure that happens. This isn't a new concept. It's worth noting that this practice of segregating money is consistent with other existing rules that make sure the public doesn't pay for things it shouldn't.